Hello and welcome to the Dragon Shed for another soap of the month. This is my July soap, which I've called Safari, and you'll see why in a minute. So I'm working with my normal milk soap recipe. So I've got my oils here at about 33 degrees and my lye is about 28, so I'm within 5 degrees. So tip the lye in. Okay, straight in the sink. Right, so I'm just going to give this a quick stir just to get it started. I would normally use my hand blender for this, but I don't really want it to accelerate and thicken up too much, so just start with the spatula. I'll bring that back in a moment. So I'm going to use a bit of manual. I'm going to whisk this around until it comes to trace. It's not going to take very long, but slightly longer than using a hand blender. See, it's already halfway there. I've still got some stringy bits of oil around the top, so I'll just keep going until it's smooth. Okay, can you get the stick blender out anyway? Other cupboard. I'll use it to finish before I start shaping. Right. I have an assistant in the kitchen today. We'll see why in a moment. So, I consider that to be pretty much emulsified. I can't see any more oil around the edge. That one. So I'm just going to stick. Ooh, I've stick that on there for now. Quick measure of my bowl. 1929. So my bowl itself is 700, so that's 1230. So around about 615 I want in this bowl here. So let's see how well I can measure this. Actually, I'm going to blend that a little bit first. It's not quite there. I can see some bits of stuff at the bottom. I do need to blend. Dang it. So, let's have a quick shot of blender. Very short shot of blender. Okay, I think that's enough. Okay, now let's try measuring again. Oh, 617. That's close enough, me. So. Right, so I'm going to do a black and white stripe Sounds mental, yes. So I'm going to start with the white side. So this is some kaolin clay. And this one is eucalyptus fragrance oil, essential oil. So I'm going to start this with the spatula first. Kaolin clay is going to make it a little bit of a muddy white. Don't mind that so much, because it's going to be up against a really, really black. So, basically stirring it to get the clumpy bits of white slightly damp, so that when I blend it, they don't go everywhere. Oh, I've just tipped over my black. So I blend this a little bit till it starts to get slightly thicker. But bear in mind that the other batch is already starting to thicken on its own, so the longer I spend on this, less time I'm going to have on that one. Okay, so I've got it to trace. It's a little thick, but that's fine. So into this one, I'm putting some activated charcoal and a little bit that just leapt out of the pot. And this is some sandalwood essential oil. So again, I'm going to start just with the spatula. It's like when you're making frosting or anything with icing sugar, you want to get it slightly wet first, so that it doesn't all go flying all over the place. Okay, so I don't mind dropping some white into this side, not a problem. So I'm going to scrape it off blender. Now, another spatula. Is that clean?
Yes.
Got a bit of extra black splurge in there, but that shouldn't matter. So now I'm going to pour both of these mixes into piping bags, which should be interesting. Father, do you hang on to the bag and the cup? Okay. That one. Don't let go. So, going to all of the bag. I've double bagged these just in case it leaks. Bring it together and stick cup on. Push down a bit and then do the same with this one. A rather strange angle because we're going to be piping into the mould, and this needs two of us. So do you want to be the light side or the dark side?
I'll be the light side. You can be the dark side.
Right. Okay. So it's going to be sloppy.
Okay.
So I'll take the very end off and follow my lead. Spludge, 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 spludge. On top, in the middle, as much as possible.
In the middle?
In the middle of each splurge.
Oh, in the middle of each splurge, sorry.
Alright, you've got some 3 splurges. No. Splurge, 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 splurge. Try and keep it fairly even. It's not going to stay even because it's quite liquid. Yeah. Spludge, spludge, spludge.
Gone.
Which we've got in there.
Yeah.
That is the zebra soap. Pretty much, I've already taken my loaf out of the mould. I left it in there for 24 hours and then removed it from the mould, left it for another 12 just to kind of finish off. So that's the original top, and you can see there's, I don't know if you'll see on camera anyway, there is definite kind of difference in heights. I think the charcoal soap seems to have set a little higher, and the clay soap has kind of dropped a bit. So I'm not sure if that means anything for the final finish, but we'll see when I start cutting into that. So I'm just going to pull out a drawer and lay it on top of some kitchen roll, just so that any bits that fall off don't go on the tablecloth. So I'm just going to pull out my 2 individual bars. Now this looks more like a swirl than a zebra, which is a little disappointing, but I kind of expected it, doing it in bars, so you get a little bit of the swirl of colour but not very much. So I've got here my little pot of bits. So I've got a soap in mind for probably November, which involves all the bits and trim offs, and possibly some bits of that one if it has failed. So yeah, any bits that come off, any bits that I trim off when they're finished, go into that pot for now. So yeah, this hasn't got the straight sides. The mould seems to be kind of bellying out slightly. Don't know if that's a good sign or not, but oh well. Okay. So now let's go for the loaf. Now I've debated whether or not to do a waffle cut or a straight cut. I think a waffle cut actually might be a better bet. So I'm going to set my little block here. At about 1 inch thick. Don't mind them being a little smaller, but I don't want to go much bigger than that because that ends up being a little too chunky. So I don't have any embeds or anything, and this is quite a solid block, so I'm not too concerned. Although this is an end piece, so it's only going to have one side waffled. So I'm going to start just cutting off a short piece, and that'll be a house soap. So steady, even pressure all the way down. Okay, not much in the way of black on that one. So, push it up, push it in square. Actually, I'm going to wipe off the blade in between. You're going to end up with a little bit of kind of residue at the top of each soap as you press. Wiping it off reduces that, so you don't kind of ruin your finish too much. So this is at 24 hours to set, so it's pretty much there in terms of hardness. It's a bit better, still a bit more black. It's a bit more of a drop swirl than it is a zebra. It's a very marbled zebra. But the smell is great. I love eucalyptus. You're not getting much of the sandalwood, which it might settle out over time. We shall see. I can't remember which way around I think I put the eucalyptus in with the charcoal, and you would expect charcoal to inhibit a reaction, inhibit the scent, but maybe it boosts it. I don't know. Excuse me. So I'm just going to keep cutting these, and I'll give them a month in the rack. Yeah, still too much black, I think. Didn't get it quite even enough. So yeah, I'll give them a month in the rack before I test them with pH paper, just to make sure they're safe. And then I'll package them and they're ready to go. So, in terms of a design idea, I was trying to recreate kind of the zebra cake effect that you get when you use 2 different colours of cake mix and you kind of alternate them, but I don't think the mix was actually thick enough. I think it needed to be left to set just a little bit more. It's a bit too watery, so it became more of a swirl than an actual line. So if I try and do this kind of design again, I will take that into account and try and get more of a thicker mix. that is the soap recipe for July done, and if I can get the the other recipe there to work, that will become the hidden image on the inside of next month's soap, which I won't tell you about yet because if it doesn't work it'll be something different. So yeah, I'm calling this soap done, at least for now, and I'll see you again next week.